Hi, everybody, and welcome to Never Seen It. This is a podcast where we watch movies that we haven't seen. I'm your host, Betsy, and with me is my co-host, Trent.
Welcome back to Smutty Sunday.
It's another Smutty Sunday, and we are going back to the 80s, a wonderful, miraculous time when everybody wanted to fuck Michael Douglas.
It is a documented fact.
It is a documented fact that has come up again and again on this podcast. So today, Smutty Sunday continues with the 1987 movie Fatal Attraction. Now, neither of us has ever seen this movie, which I find kind of amazing at this point.
That you haven't seen it?
That I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
I can believe why you haven't watched it because that's kind of the going rate for this podcast.
For this entire show, yes.
But yeah, I've not sat down to do this. So Trent, tell the people, what do you know about Fatal Attraction?
Well, we've already established that Michael Douglas is in it and that people want to fuck him. And this is, I believe, the first introduction or first, big role for Glenn Close.
I don't know if it's her first big role, but it's certainly one that
She's
people
remember. For. Yeah, people remember her in this movie. Now, it is definitely, the term Fatal Attraction has been just inserted into the lexicon over the past 40 years, and it's because of this movie and the performances therein. So what I would say about, the concept of a fatal attraction, it is what you think it is. It is a person, doesn't have to be a woman or really anything. It is a person with an attraction to someone of a sexual nature that just gets really out of hand and something needs to be done about it.
I would simplify it to, you don't fuck crazy.
You don't stick your dick in crazy. That's how I would refer to it.
Yes.
But as far as the movie itself, I believe Michael Douglas is married, has an affair with Glenn Close, and she gets really attached and doesn't want to let go.
Do you know any of the big moments? Because there have been a few that I know about that have been either parodied or referenced in other media.
If I've seen them referred anywhere, it's probably by something like The Simpsons or other kinds of shows and other movies. But I don't know that it's coming from this movie.
Okay. Well, other than that, do you know anyone else who's in this?
No.
Neither do I.
No, I know nothing, really.
Amazingly, for a movie that's going to be 36 years old this year, I don't really know a whole lot. I know some extreme things that happen.
Okay.
I know the basic outline, which is these two, like you said, and it's maybe not a good idea that he hooked up with her. I don't know the context. And I think we're going into this one fairly blind, all things considered.
And I would say maybe we know a little bit less about this movie than we did about Basic Instinct when we did our first Smutty series, where at least we knew about one of the scenes. We didn't really know hardly anything else. But in this one, I know nothing.
Well, all right. We'll leave it at that then. We're going to go watch Fatal Attraction, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. All right, that was Fatal Attraction. How are you feeling, Trent?
You know, we've had movies like this in the past where we came out of it thinking, oh God, nobody told me this was a horror movie. And this is one of those.
I think I knew enough about the important moments that I didn't tell you explicitly what they were.
Yeah.
That I was unsurprised for when they happened. But clearly, you did not know that she boiled the bunny.
No.
No. And you also didn't know that the wife was going to kill her in the end.
No.
So those were two things I definitely knew about.
Okay.
Through usually other media. So there's at least one movie in my collection that I have seen a bunch of times where they show footage from this movie. I can't off the top of my head remember what it is, but the idea is this woman who is in the dating pool is concerned that she's just going to lose her mind one day and start murdering people. I want to say it might be Bridget Jones's Diary, but I'm not 100%.
Sense. It makes sense.
But there are lots and lots of movies that reference this one because it's like, well, maybe I should just be an insane person and murder men or try to murder them or something.
Yeah, and I said I was probably going to recognize some things here. The only one that I can come up with is the scene where Glenn Close is sitting in the dark when the bowling is happening off screen, and she's just sitting there in the dark, just flicking the on and off switch on the lamp by herself.
Crying in the dark.
And I feel like I've seen that referenced or recreated in other media.
Or maybe just seen this clip.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think I've seen it elsewhere, but I could not tell you where.
Okay. Interesting.
But other than that, no, I've not seen any of this. I didn't know any of the references. I have no idea how it was going to end specifically. I kind of figured that Glenn Close was going to die. Yeah, by the end.
The way it was escalating.
Yeah.
There was kind of no other resolution to this movie.
And boy, howdy, did it escalate.
Yes, it goes from simple, where he's going to leave the second day they're together.
Right.
To her, cutting her wrists.
Yep.
In a day 2. Mm-hmm. If that's not a sign of things to come, that was day 2. Mm-hmm. And then she will not stop calling his office. And then she starts calling his house. And then
they change their number.
She follows him around. She goes to the apartment when he's not there and gets the new number. Mm-hmm. She acids his car. She's following him to his house. She kidnaps their daughter.
Yeah.
It goes to 11 and it just keeps going and going and going. And of course, she's telling him all these things, the main thing of which is she's pregnant. Now, I feel like there's some room to question whether or not that's actually real.
Medically, I don't know if that's really a thing, if you're going to be able to find that out in that amount of time.
Yeah, because when she
it's
says
only a couple of weeks after they have their affair.
It's very, very shortly after. So first of all, it's questionable whether you would even know at this point. Unless we, the audience, don't know how much time has passed, then okay, I'll give you a pass.
The only reference to time is when she goes to his office the first time. She offers him as a peace offering 2 tickets to go see this opera that he likes. And she says it's going to be in a week and a half or 2 weeks.
2 weeks from Thursday.
Right.
Because this is Tuesday. I was keeping track. They fucked on Friday. Or Saturday, excuse me.
Yeah, it was a long weekend.
It was Saturday when they hooked up. And this was Tuesday. There was only one day in between them not seeing each other that she started showing up to his office unannounced.
Yes.
And they say that he got the number of her doctor, that he called the doctor who said congratulations, but we never see her go to the doctor. We never see him get any kind of physical proof.
There's no test results anywhere.
Nope.
She could have just told the doctor, hey, I'm pregnant. I took a test and I'm pregnant. And then he could have called later and asked, hey, is Alex pregnant? And they could have said, yes, congratulations.
Yeah, so that's kind of the big elephant of this movie is she actually pregnant or is she just really crazy and will tell him anything she has to get him to stick around?
Yeah.
And I think it's unresolved. Honestly, I'm inclined to believe it. It's just maybe they didn't flesh it out enough with the dialogue.
There's only one more, clue, let's say, when she shows up to the house, looks in through the window when he's given the bunny to the daughter, she pukes afterwards.
She does, but she could also just be overwhelmed by the sight of him happy with his family.
Yes, I totally get that. But again, that's the only nugget that we are given here.
Yeah, the rest of the movie, she is acting so erratically and irrationally. She says, I love you. You were with this man for 12 hours total.
Right.
Total. And you pushed him immediately into just, why don't you come over? Why don't you come over? Just come over. Come over. Come over.
Yeah,
come over.
Bring the dog. We're going to have a day date. And we're going to have fun with the dog. And then we're going to go fuck again at night.
Yeah, and it's just very, poor decision making on his part. Like, he's just so flippant about the whole thing. Like, at the beginning of the movie, we are introduced to the concept of he's got this wife, he's got this daughter, happy home life, everything's great, he has a great job. Why does he do this? Other than he's thinking with his dick. And he had an opportunity.
And they do not flesh this out, but the only thing I can really think of here is, he works in this high-powered lawyer life.
City job.
He has this other, lawyer friend who works with him, and they're always, doing the guy thing of, looking at the hot chick across the room, making eyes at him, and Alex is at that party at the very beginning, and the friend is, making eyes at her, and she is, staring daggers back at him. So I think that there's this, casualness about the idea of, oh, I'm going to go hook up with her because she's hot and I can get away with it. Even though they're all married, I think there's this attitude that some of these guys who have high-powered jobs, they have this attitude that they are invincible and they can go off and do whatever they want without any kind of consequence because their wives will never leave them because of the life that they are afforded. Maybe. I don't know. They're not addressing that at all here, but that's the idea that comes across my mind.
The other thing I was thinking was because he was so quick to do this, how many times has he done this before and gotten away with it?
Yeah.
The only reason this kind of goes down when it does is his wife and daughter go away for the weekend. They go to her parents' house, and he was supposed to go with them, but it happened that, they had to call this emergency meeting, and now he's got to work because that's what always happens to open the door for him to make some mischief.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe there's more to him than we really know. I don't think by any means he's the hero.
No. If anything, this movie is just, hey, dude, this is the consequences of your actions.
Right.
You're the one. I mean, okay, I'll say this. She initiated everything, but he could have easily said no.
He went right along with it.
Yeah.
He at any moment could have walked away. When she comes and rescues him in the rain, and when they, he's the one who says, let's go have a drink.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of flirting with the idea
and
all through the meal.
That could have been a completely innocent thing.
Yeah.
Like them at the party, him going to get a thing of champagne, them having dinner because there's nothing else to do, her helping him in the rain. They are acquaintances from work. That's all well and fine. But she's the one who put it forward saying, hey, I can be discreet. Can you be discreet? Just coming right out and saying it.
Oh, yeah. And then it just escalates to them fucking in her kitchen.
Yeah, but it's the flattery that gets to him, I think. I'm kind of with you that it's very possible that this has happened in the past because it did not take that much convincing to get him, in bed or on the sink, so to speak. So I would say, yeah, he's probably had some affairs in the past, but there was an understanding there between the woman and him that this was just a fling.
A one-time thing.
Exactly.
With him, it's about the sex.
Yeah.
It's about the sex. It's not about let's get a relationship going.
Right. He doesn't want a side piece. He just wants a one-night stand.
He wants to fuck.
Sure.
He's a horny bastard with a high-pressure job.
Which, fine, if you're going to go off and do this, you need to be prepared for the consequences, whatever they may be. And even when she confronts him with the baby thing, he immediately goes to, okay, I feel like I've done this before. I'm just going to pay for the abortion. Mm-hmm. And he's done this in the past, okay, I'll pay for it. We'll take care of this. It's fine.
But also at first he says, don't you use anything? Don't you?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
This is a two-way street here, buddy.
This is some random woman that you just met and you just whipped it out and stuck it in.
Yeah.
And then you seem upset with the consequences.
Again, it's consequences of your actions, dude.
This movie, structurally, could so easily be about her and how this guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
The only reason people say, oh, she's the bad guy in this is because she has a mental illness and she goes to some really dark, extreme places. If she was just, quote, a normal person, which don't get me started because normal people can have mental illnesses too.
Sure.
But if she just reacted in a normal fashion, he would be the villain.
Yes.
She got screwed, literally, and she's about to get screwed again.
And for the most part, yeah, he is the villain here because when, like, he's going after her and saying, stop coming here, she's throwing it right back in his face, saying, you chose to come home with me. You chose to fuck me. You chose to spend all this extra time with me. You chose to come inside of me. And hey, if I get pregnant, that's on you too, buddy.
Yeah, and when
Jesus Christ.
When she is stalking him and he goes to the cops and he's using like the my buddy, this guy,
my client,
this woman is coming after him and this is happening. And the cop literally says the thing we're all thinking, he made his bed and now he has to lie in it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. That's this whole movie is he didn't expect to have to deal with what he did. Mm-hmm. And now he has to.
He's trying to play the victim at all corners.
And it's ruining his fucking life. It's like, well...
what did you expect to happen, dude?
Maybe we shouldn't hook up with random women outside of our marriage.
You know, find something to do with yourself on the weekend.
Don't you go play squash or something? You're a big city lawyer. Isn't that a thing they do?
In 1980, whatever, I don't know what they did.
Bowl. They go bowling.
No, Betsy, they do cocaine.
They
do mountains of cocaine.
So speaking contextually of lots of mountains of cocaine and high-powered jobs, this movie came out a mere like 3 or 4 months before Wall Street.
Yes.
So he was making these movies at the same time.
Literally at the same time.
Literally
they were filming
at the same time.
on like alternating weekends.
That is insane. He was having a stretch. So when we say everyone wanted to fuck Michael Douglas, it's because that's all he was doing, was making movies about fucking people. Literally and metaphorically.
Indeed.
But he did not get nominated for this. He got nominated for Wall Street. However, this movie did get nominated for a lot of Oscars.
Yeah.
This was up for 6, including Best Picture.
Mm-hmm. I did know that.
Which, that's kind of wild that this movie got nominated for Best Picture.
I mean, it's pushing a lot of boundaries. It is like fucking with your preconceived notions of, you know, this family man having an affair and him having to deal with the consequences of his actions. You're not going to see a lot of movies like this, and especially before 1987. And yeah, it's a unique film.
And Glenn Close got nominated for Best Actress. So
yes.
This was the first time where she was kind of cast outside of the box. She had been this squeaky clean sort of person up to this point.
And I didn't really know Glenn Close's filmography prior to this.
I also don't. I know a few of the things she had made before this, but suffice to say, there were a lot of casting things. Like if you go and look at the trivia about this movie, there were tons of people considered for both of these roles.
Yep.
And she was not high on the list, but she really wanted to do it. Somehow she ended up getting the role. And she is probably best known, or at least there's maybe 3 roles, I would say, if you say, okay, Glenn Close, what movie do you think of?
Sure.
This is definitely one of them.
Definitely.
I think for you or me, it might be Cruella de Vil.
No, honestly, no. The thing that the first thing I ever saw Glenn Close in, believe it or not, was that one season of The Shield.
Seriously?
Yes.
I had no idea that was your point of reference for her.
And she is a fucking badass in that show.
Well, and that was when people didn't do TV. Movie stars didn't do television.
It was a huge deal. A big movie star like Glenn Close going to cable TV. And they didn't even call it premiere cable TV or premiere television
Not
or anything like
days.
that. But The Shield was one of those shows. They gave it a big budget on a prime time slot. And yeah, there was a lot of buzz around her season of that show. And she did a great job.
And then she went on to do her own show, which was really good.
Right.
And then she's been nominated like for 2 more Oscars since then.
Yeah. So that is kind of my context for Glenn Close of being this like kind of hard ass bitch. And I love that.
Yeah, she's very good at it. So it's interesting to hear about the early part of her career where she was like the mom and the best friend and these like soft characters.
Yeah.
But if she doesn't do this movie, she doesn't get to be the boss bitch on The Shield.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. And she probably wouldn't get to play Cruella de Vil either. Like, she knows how to toe the line of she's crazy, but believable. Like in this one, she is like really out there, but she's kind of ebbing and flowing where she's just like, I'm so sorry. I just did this silly thing, like slitting my wrist. I'm so sorry. I'm just so, can we just water under the bridge?
Right.
Like so normal when she goes to his office, or even in the same conversation where she's saying, don't leave. And then she starts ripping his shirt open and then freaking out and kicking him. And then she cuts her wrist, but then 2 days later, she's fine.
Well, and I knew like there was going to be something. She was either going to pull out a knife or pull something out or like reveal something.
She's standing in a weird way.
Yeah, her hands are behind her back and she seems like really, really sad all of a sudden.
She's like, can't we just be friends before
Come
you
over
leave?
before you leave. Let's
me goodbye.
Yeah, kiss me goodbye. And he comes over there with his little saunter and she reveals what happened. And yeah. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. But I also, as the movie progressed, I believed that she was capable of doing all of these things. Why? Just to get through to him. Just because, like, it's that famous line. That's probably the most famous line in the movie is, I won't be ignored, Dan.
Yeah.
It's all about, you're not paying attention to me.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the most powerful lines. But like I said before, she is throwing back everything that he is saying into his face. And she will not be ignored. She will not be cast aside when she's attacking him the first time after he gets up to go away. She's like, oh, you're just going to leave me like everybody else. You're just going to toss me aside, throw me away, like it's a one-night stand. Didn't this mean anything to you?
Yeah, I'm not some slut. You know, you can't treat me like this.
Right. It's almost a like a feminism thing. Like, how dare you treat me like this and toss me aside?
Yeah, it's complicated. Like, she's complicated.
Yeah.
In a very interesting way. Because as we're watching this movie and as we're talking about it, I'm finding myself going, well, why isn't she allowed to be mad? She is, because he was a total asshole.
Yes.
She's just maybe also dealing with some of her own issues that she goes way too far. Like, you shouldn't just break into people's homes and steal their children from the daycare and things of that nature. But then, like, she takes the kid to an amusement park and buys her ice cream.
You know, one person's kidnapping is another person's, picking up the kid from school.
It was the best day of my life, Mom and Dad.
Taking the kid to the amusement park and buying him ice cream,
Yeah, and then she gets home.
And drops him off at home.
And we don't even see what happened because Mom is, of course, frantic, driving around, gets into an accident, and the kid's at home alone.
Right. Which, I think the kid just called Grandma, and Grandma came to save the day.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a gap there where it's like, is she just sitting alone in that house? She's 6.
Right.
Please don't.
Well, that kid also, opened up the door for the babysitter by herself.
The babysitter of which is Jane Krakowski.
Yes.
Which blew my mind. I don't think I've ever seen her this young. I've seen her in a movie from 1995 or 6, and I think up to now, that was the earliest I had seen. And she's only in that one part of the movie, right at the beginning, and never again.
Yeah. But my point is, yes, the kid is, I guess, responsible enough to call Grandma.
I mean, an only child, the oldest child, an independent sort of individual. Yes. I know lots of kids who at 6 years old were well in control of their own destiny.
That was me.
That was my sister. At 5 years old, she was telling one of my grandmas the directions. Like, she was telling her, okay, now turn left here, now turn right here, how to get from our house to the other grandma's house.
Oh.
She was able to do that at 5 years old. She knew what she was doing.
All right.
Just listen to what I'm saying, Grandma. I got this. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of things I noticed that are sort of parallel scenes. So the first time they hook up, we kind of touched on it. They fuck in the sink. They're in her apartment, at the sink in her kitchen, and they just sort of drop trow, jump on the counter, and she's like turns on the water and she's rubbing water on his face and his pants are around his ankles and he's trying to carry her.
It's really fucking sloppy.
It is so sloppy and funny and awkward.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later they go out dancing, and then on the way back she's like, you ever fuck in an elevator? And it's the same thing where they're just sort of flailing back and forth.
Yeah. They're all over that elevator. They're all over the dance floor. All over her apartment.
Yes, there's no So this is not a movie like they do nowadays where they have an intimacy coordinator. I think this is just like, you are physically attracted to each other, so fucking go at it like animals, because they are like throwing each other and they can barely stand up and they don't even bother taking their clothes. They're ripping clothes off of each other.
Yeah, they're ripping clothes off. Like she's like exposing herself and like, come suck on my nipple.
And just like slamming the button on the elevator so they can have some privacy, but his head is still
that was such a good scene. Good shot of him, just just his shoulders while she's giving him a blowjob
as people are walking past.
Oh, it's great.
It's absolutely insane. So that's how they hook up. Okay.
Yeah. And that whole thing would have been a good like intro if he wasn't already married with a family.
Yeah.
Like, them hooking up together, that would have been a great start of a different kind of a movie.
That's Basic Instinct.
It is.
Because in that one, he's available, and that's how they fuck. It's just kind of chaos and just two horny people doing their thing.
Fine.
And before that happens, she's like the blonde femme fatale in white. So, of course, I thought about that. Like,
of course,
we've got the brunette and the blonde. This is like a noir thing. At the end of the movie, she's in white again when he goes and confronts her in the apartment. They don't say anything, but it's similar where he is just like choking her and attacking her and smashing her face against things, and they bring the sink back into it. So it's the same thing where we started, but instead this time they're both panting in the kitchen and she is like trying to catch her breath and get a drink of water.
That's their special fuck sink.
Yeah, and they don't say a word. Like, he just kicks the fucking door in and is chasing her around because he's had enough, but he can't bring himself to actually kill her.
He already came over there once to intimidate her and yell at her, but that's where she was just throwing things back in his face. It's not working, so guess what? I'm going to physically attack you.
You've now taken my child and made my wife suffer. Like, I'm going to make you suffer.
Yeah.
So you were reading, again, some trivia before we started, that there's an alternate ending to this movie.
The original ending, not just an alternate ending. So the original ending had Glenn Close's character in the bathroom with Beth, and Alex kills herself in front of Beth. But it's the same knife that they were using in her apartment when he came over to attack her.
He had his hands on the knife.
He had his hands on the knife, and essentially she dies, but Dan goes down for her murder.
So she coordinates it so that he goes down after she's dead.
Yes.
She frames him.
Yes. So when they showed the movie to test audiences, they were really upset that she had no comeuppance. There was no justice done, and he gets to go away for murder when he didn't do anything that wrong.
He didn't kill her, certainly.
Yeah.
There was no justice to them watching this guy who's being tormented go away for her murder that he didn't commit.
So months later, they had to go and reshoot all of this, all these scenes in the bathroom where she gets drowned and Beth ends up shooting her. And there was a lot of controversy amongst not only the cast, but the director. The director did not want to do this. They felt like the original ending was the correct ending. The studio, Paramount, actually gave the director $1.5 million to go off and do it. And initially, Glenn Close was not on board. I think the actress who played Beth was not on board, but Michael Douglas was. And it took Glenn Close's friend, William Hurt, to call her and convince her to do the new scene, to do the new ending. And that's what it was. And, I mean, what do you think?
Like I said, if this was a different kind of movie, if she wasn't clearly a deranged individual going to extremes, she would be the victim, and that would be an incredibly satisfying ending. But because it's framed this way, where she's the bad guy, he doesn't deserve, quote unquote, a comeuppance. He's been getting it this whole movie. So by ending it this way, he got his comeuppance in that he was tormented, and she went after his kid, and she went after the bunny, and she went after his wife, and she's got a lot of problems, but she's got to go. Now, I don't know how else you could have resolved this other than She is now in their home. Like, they go around showing him locking the doors. But bad news, dude, she's already in there. And so she's giving this monologue to the wife about, you just don't get it and nobody loves you. And she's doing that thing where she's like running the fucking knife against her leg and cutting her dress.
Did you also see that her feet looked like dead?
They were dirty. She's been walking probably.
Is it just dirt?
She probably fucking walked there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. She probably walked all the way.
Also, like, there was some glass at her apartment, so maybe her feet were bleeding?
Yeah, she was a mess.
Yeah.
Long story short, she snapped. This is the point where she has completely detached herself from reality, which is why she goes to the bathroom and she says to the wife, what are you doing here? Mm-hmm. Why are you here?
Right.
Like, this is my house. You have no rights. And I'm going to deal with it. And she kind of tries to stab her, but I don't think she actually succeeds in any capacity.
No.
Like, she's waving the knife, but it's almost like instead of a thrust, like trying to stab her, it's more of a just hitting her with it.
Yeah. It was like
smacking her.
It was at an arc, like she was doing the
tapping her.
Right, like doing like the cycle thing.
Except it was like she would have held it the way you would cut something, but instead of an inward motion, she's just sort of slapping her with the side of the blade.
Right. And
because she's not getting her.
Right. And I mean, if you really want to get into it, she was wearing a cast. The wife was.
That's true.
So maybe she just hit the cast and that was it.
Maybe, because she does have her arm up trying to protect herself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's this really dramatic scene. I did know that she didn't drown.
Okay.
Because there's like the one last jump scare. You've always got to have the one last jump scare.
Again, it's a fucking horror movie.
A fucking horror movie. You can see the roots of it, certainly. There's tons of Dutch angles all throughout.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of editing tricks they did where they're really, really jarring. So like when she kidnaps the daughter and it's like quiet moments with her at the fucking amusement park, and then this dramatic music as mom.
The frantic music while the mom is just running around town and running into the house and driving all around and just freaking the fuck out.
And they did it the same thing when she's discovering the bunny. Like they get home and mom sees something boiling in a pot and she's like, I didn't do that. What the fuck is this?
Which honestly, what I thought was going to happen, she was going to be in the kitchen making spaghetti. That's honestly what I thought was happening here.
Oh, it's so innocent. She's just in their house making spaghetti for them.
You know?
No, so it's a lot of those moments where it's building the tension, where it's like, this is what one person's doing, this is what the other person's doing. Same thing when she's confronting her in the final scene in the bathroom. She is talking to her. We see the close-up shots of the bathtub. He's downstairs eating a fucking fruit roll-up like nothing's going on.
Yeah.
And then it just goes to 11 very, very quickly. But there are a lot of elements, especially in that last third of the movie, that are straight out of a horror movie.
Totally. And even the way they shot everything in that bathroom was very well done. All the angles were perfect. You could see everything, and that's a bathroom. It's really hard to even have 3 people in that bathroom.
I would be willing to bet there are direct little moments in there from Psycho. Yeah. Because if you think of any movie during this scene, it is Psycho.
Yes.
It is a woman attacking another woman in a bathroom.
Yep.
There's like water running. And the only difference here is he comes to the rescue.
Right.
And you said it. They showed the gun. Somebody has to use the gun. Those are the rules.
Yes.
You don't show it if you're not going to use it.
He just casually opens up the drawer, shows it to the audience.
It's there.
And you close.
And I honestly assumed that he shot her because I had seen the part where she gets the bullet, where she takes the bullet and she's like sliding against the wall and down into the water.
Yeah.
I knew that, but I never saw the part of who's holding the gun. So it's easy to assume it's him. But no, it's his wife. His wife knows all about this affair because after someone breaks into your house and boils your kid's pet, you kind of have to fess up, dude. You need to tell her what's going on for her own safety.
He also didn't come completely clean either.
No, he could have given some more details. As I said, I don't think this is the first affair.
It was a one-time thing, one night, it didn't mean anything. Bullshit, dude.
Well, it definitely didn't mean anything beyond sex.
Yes, but
it was more than one night.
You hung out with her a couple of nights. You hung out with her with your dog during the day and had a great date. Buddy.
Such a spark between them. The buds of love.
Shit.
But yeah, so when she knows it's her taking control of her own destiny, the wife, and just she goes and grabs the gun and fucks her up.
Yeah, she did.
Resolution. And then the last shot is literally they close the door. The cops have been there. They've taken the body away. They embrace. The husband and wife are back in love again. All is well. And here's a close-up photo of their happy family and like the bronzed baby boots. And it's just like, end of movie.
Right. Happily ever after.
Yeah. They don't end movies like that anymore. That's a very 80s thing.
Where it's just a very slow zoom on a photo and then credits.
You know, cue the music.
Yeah.
Movie over.
There is no like special song in these credits. I kind of expected there was going to be.
Maybe,
it was the late 80s. Everybody was doing that.
Maybe they didn't expect this to be as big of a hit.
It's also a different ending, so maybe they did in the original.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, I find it fascinating that this did get nominated for Best Picture. That's kind of wild to me. Like, I get it and I don't.
I'm like, I don't even know what the other movies were nominated in 1988, I guess.
I looked it up earlier. The one that won was The Last Emperor, which I've never seen.
Okay.
One of the other ones that was nominated was Moonstruck.
Ah.
So this was the year Glenn lost to Cher.
Oh, fuck.
She lost to Cher, but we'll eventually get to Moonstruck because you still haven't seen that one either.
No, but I will say one other little piece of trivia here. This movie in 1987 was the highest grossing worldwide movie of that year.
That's insane.
In the US, though, it was number 2.
Number 2.
And I told you before this, I told Betsy, you're never going to get
the
number 1 movie in 1987. Nope. And neither would have I, but it was 3 Men and a Baby.
Oh, that just goes to figure. I love that juxtaposition of that's number 1 and Fatal Attraction was number 2.
That's the United States, baby.
Wow. All right. Well, before we start wrapping this up, I think it would be remiss of us to not mention the fact that we watched this on Paramount Plus, and there was an ad at the beginning before this movie started. At the end of this very month we are in, there will be a Fatal Attraction TV show starring Lizzie Kaplan and Joshua Jackson.
So that's what they've been up to lately.
What do you think of that now that you just saw like the tiniest little trailer for that and you've watched this movie?
Okay, is it actually a TV show or is it a movie?
It's a TV show.
Okay, so Joshua Jackson is a good number of years older than us, and I think Lizzie Kaplan is about the same age as us.
Give or take, yeah.
Joshua Jackson is a good actor, but he has chosen some really weird roles in his later years, and I feel like it fits. I don't know why.
I think he's an underrated actor. I think a lot of people don't realize that he's got a lot of gravitas.
He got like pigeonholed into doing these like teenage shows and movies and whatever else.
In the early days.
He was never allowed to be an actor.
Well, he's gotten there, though, because you remember how he was in Cruel Intentions?
Yeah.
Like, he was playing really against type in that, and that was one of his earliest movies, because that was kind of happening concurrently with Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
But then later on... It was
still kind of a teenage movie, though.
Later on, he did... I can't remember what's that fucking show that was on Fox, that weird kind of X-Files-y thing.
Bones?
No, he wasn't on Bones. It was,
Fringe.
Yes, he was on Fringe. I think he was on The Affair, wasn't he, a couple years ago?
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he is either the guy having the affair or the spouse of the woman. But yeah, he's gotten to be in more, like, I am a grown-ass man kind of work in the last few years.
He's already turned gray.
Yeah, so he gets to make this movie. However, I will say, I totally buy Lizzie Kaplan.
Yes.
I am actually intrigued by this notion because she does have the capacity to be a little crazy.
Yep.
I've seen it. I've seen her toe that line before. In different, like, she kind of almost got there in True Blood, where she was a little bit out there.
Yeah, because she's presented in True Blood like this kind of hippie chick, but in the end, she's kidnapping a fucking vampire and draining him.
The speed with which she goes to, we need to kill him.
Right.
So I believe that she could play this Alex character.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that now we've kind of come all this way. We're 36 years removed from this movie, and we're bringing it back. Everything old is new again.
And I had no idea that thing even existed until we saw this. I did a search on Paramount Plus, and that new thing was the first thing to show up.
Yeah, the
It's
movie comes
wait a
up
minute,
second.
Wait a minute, is this like a remake movie or is this a show? And sure enough, like there's a preview of it.
We'll see what happens. Well, Trent, do you have any other thoughts about this one before we wrap this one up?
Well, I wanted to talk about whether or not you thought this really fit in with our Smutty Sunday series. Because, I mean, we included it because of the reputation. There is definitely an affair here. There's definitely sexy times happening, because that's a prerequisite for this series. But no, this is more like a horror movie.
This is kind of more akin to Basic Instinct, where there's a lot of like tits and ass.
Sure.
There's a lot of sex in the beginning, but then it turns into something else.
Completely. And
so Act 1, yes, smut.
The reputation of these two movies, though, precede it. And that's why we chose them.
Yeah, the whole thing about this movie is the consequences of fucking the wrong person.
Yeah.
So it's maybe towing the line. I think this is not a movie you watch with your mom.
Another prerequisite, yes. There was actually something that just kind of came to mind. We keep talking about Basic Instinct and how, Michael Douglas is in both of these movies and what the correlations are. Number one, Sharon Stone auditioned to be Alex in this movie.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
And number two, the other thing I thought of is, there's a correlation here between these two movies in that there is a book that they're talking about at the beginning of the movie. Dan is a lawyer who is representing a publisher, and somebody is submitting a manuscript it's a story about a senator, a fictional story about a senator with which this author is having an affair, or had an affair, or it's a fictional story. It doesn't matter. In Basic Instinct, Sharon Stone is an author who is writing about fucking and murdering men.
Mm-hmm.
So just the fact that there is a correlation here between like authors and books and affairs and fucking and all that other stuff.
Well, let me throw you for a loop here. Is it possible that Alex is the person in question who wrote the book? Because we don't know who the author is, and she's got all kinds of books and manuscripts around her apartment. And like they say, well, we're not going to publish it because it's too similar to this living guy, a real person. He's going to threaten to sue.
Alex is saying to the people in that room, oh yeah, I just talked to her. Well, she's a fucking liar, so,
And she's new to this firm.
That's a good
She
thought.
could have lived somewhere else before she came to New York. Maybe she does this. She hops around and fucks around with the wrong guy.
Powerful men.
It's a thought. I hadn't considered it, but now that you said that.
Uh-huh. Interesting. I like that. Okay. The rest of the stuff I had was all about the time in which this is shot. In the beginning of the movie, they're all sitting in the living room and they have the TV on. What are they watching, Betsy?
I have no idea. I did not know what that show was.
Okay, all right. So they're watching Nickelodeon. It is early 80s Nickelodeon when they're watching a TV show called You Can't Do That on Television.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
So I figured it was Nickelodeon because they're being slimed.
Correct. And that show is actually a Canadian show that they brought over to the US, and the person on the show, if you say the wrong phrase, the phrase is, I don't know. If you say, I don't know, you get slimed on the show.
I've literally never seen this show in my life.
Oh,
or if I have, I was probably 4.
No, I totally watched that show when I was a kid. It was not my favorite show, but yeah, that was the show with the original slime.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
You learn something new every day.
You also mentioned the fruit roll-ups, which play a big role in the second half of the movie.
There's a lot of fruit roll-ups.
Oh, and the fact that she made a tape.
She did.
She made it. She recorded her own tape.
Her ramblings.
And had it delivered to his office. The secretary gave it to him, and he plays the tape in the car on the way to the house.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
None of those things make sense to our younger listeners.
No. You cannot do that anymore.
Well, I think then that's probably going to be it for this one. So we do have an email, once again, trying to find some relevance and to tie it into what we have just experienced. So we've got an email from Stephanie about 7 psychopaths.
Psychopaths?
We just watched a movie about someone who is arguably a little bit insane, so why not? All right, so she says, I love this movie. I agree with Trent that I love how meta it is. The on-screen text is very much of the 2000s time period. Every single person in this movie is perfect. Sam Rockwell is such a great actor and just completely amazing in this movie. He is so nutty, and I just love his character.
Agreed.
Billy just wants Marty to be his best friend and do everything with him, so he inserts himself into the plot. In regards to my A Simple Favor email that you read, my dislike for momfluencers stems from the smugness that most seem to have, and that a lot of them make their money by telling parents that they aren't good enough.
Yeah, that's shitty. Like, come on, nobody knows how to be a parent when they become a parent.
Nah.
You just kind of learn as you go, and
It's all trial and error.
there's no wrong way to do it, but there's like, I don't know, illegal ways to do it.
There's a morally reprehensible
Yep.
ways to do it.
I mean, keep them fed, keep them watered, and keep them clothed, and I guess keep them safe. That's about it. That's all you got to do.
Love them and, let them out of the house once in a while.
Take them for walks. Wait a minute.
Wait, are we talking about... Okay.
There's also laws for that, too.
She concludes, I did recommend Seven Psychopaths. I loved it
Yeah.
and hope you did too. Love,
Yeah.
Superfan Stephanie.
Definitely. I mean, that was a movie on our list for a long, long time, like from the get-go when it came out, but I'm really glad that we did that.
Well, and this one, Fatal Attraction, was also on our list. It was on the short list for the Smutfest that
Yes.
we did last time.
Yes.
But we felt like, based on reputation, it was too similar to Basic Instinct, and I don't think we were entirely wrong about it.
Indeed.
But that is going to be it for this episode. We have 2 more episodes left of our Smutty Sunday series and 2 more episodes of our video game movie series. So look forward to those in the coming weeks.
I think you're going to like the next 2 smut movies because it's going to be a follow-up to something we've done in the past. That's all I'm going to say.
But with that in mind, we would love to hear your thoughts on any of these movies we have covered so far, or any of the movies outside of this series. You go back all the way to Basic Instinct if you want to. We want to hear your thoughts. Or anything you think we should cover. If you would like to email us like Superfan Stephanie, you can do that at neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on all of those platforms. And send us a message on there if you like. You can also support the show by clicking the link in the podcast description on Spotify. Or you can simply go on to iTunes and Spotify and rate our show 5 stars. We hear that really helps.
5 stars.
So that is going to do it. This is another episode of Never Seen It. I am Betsy.
And I'm Trent.
And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.